This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 2nd day of April in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. Guyana has found itself among the countries that will face an increase in tariffs to be charged on goods to be imported into the U.S. U.S. President Donald Trump announced his global reciprocal tariffs this afternoon, and Guyana was listed as one of those countries that will see increased tariffs. According to the information released by the U.S. government, Guyana will now face a tariff rate of 38%, which appears to be a blanket rate to cover all goods imported into the U.S. from Guyana. A number of other Caribbean countries, including Barbados, Antigua, Trinidad and Tobago, Belize, Suriname, and Jamaica, are also facing reciprocal tariff rates. However, their goods being imported into the U.S. will face a much lower rate at 10%, compared to 38% on goods from Guyana. News source reached out to a number of senior government officials, including Vice President Bara Jagdeo, who indicated that the matter was being examined as it was only announced this afternoon. Meanwhile, former Finance Minister Winston Jordan told news source that the new U.S. tariffs would be bad news for sugar and a number of other exports from Guyana, including agriculture products. He said he believes Guyana previously enjoyed protection on the special arrangements for the Caribbean, but that now appears to have changed. Mr. Jordan also said it remains to be seen whether oil would be affected. In announcing the new global tariffs, U.S. President Donald Trump said the U.S. subsidizes a lot of countries and keep them going and keep them in business. He said the U.S. is now putting America first. The U.S. president also said the U.S. has been looted, pillaged, raped, and plundered by nations near and far, both friend and foe alike, for decades, and it's time for that to change.
We will supercharge our domestic industrial base. We will pry open foreign markets and break down foreign trade barriers. And ultimately, more production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers. This will be indeed the golden age of America. It's coming back, and we're going to come back very strongly.
Just last week, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio visited Guyana as part of the Caribbean tour. It's unclear whether the issue of the new tariffs was discussed during his meeting with President Irfan and government officials. Guyana and the U.S. have close trade relations, and since Guyana started oil production, hundreds of U.S. businesses have opened operations in Guyana. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Keeping up with the kids' growth spurts might mean it's time for a bigger fridge. Don't worry, at Quartz, we've got you. Save up to $50,000 on select fridges. Get a free grill or mixer with select stoves and more. Need to upgrade your home? Get smart TVs from as low as $32,999. Plus, shop today and pay later. And make your first payment in 30 days with Quartz Ready Finance. Whatever you need, we've got you. Only at Quartz, bringing value home. Offer ends April 23, 2025.
In the world of business right now, the call center business in Guyana appears to be taking a shot in the gut as more clients pull away their business, leaving the government of Guyana to seek answers. One of the largest call center companies in the country, Teleperformance, has closed down its Rob and Cam Street location here in Georgetown, which followed at least 5 of its major clients ending their contracts over the past 6 months. With the loss of those contracts, the employees who were attached to those clients were laid off. In total, between August of last year and February of this year, the company has been forced to lay off more than 800 of its staff members. In August of last year, the company had over 1,100 employees on its payroll, but that has now been reduced to just over 125 currently. The company is currently operating just one location with less clients. More than 5 large clients have walked away from the company since August. Last weekend, the company completed its move out of the Camp and Rob Streets location and handed over the keys to the building to the landlord, completely shuttering operations at the location. The layoffs initially affected mostly the calling agents, but support staff members are now being affected, leaving many of them in jitters about the future of their job. A source familiar with the company's operations told News Source today that as the company continues to shed clients, it will have no choice but to scale back the operations in Guyana. The Colombian headquartered company has been silent on its current state and its future in the country. News Source understands that the Ministry of Finance has been reaching out to the company on behalf of the government to get a better understanding of the closures and the layoffs and the potential impact. The call center business in Guyana has been slowing over the past year. Just last year, another major provider in the industry, ITEL, completely shut down its Guyana operations. More than 400 workers were laid off by that company, which blamed the end to its Guyana operations on losing clients and also the increasing cost of doing business in Guyana. Some troubling news to report now. More than 300 cases of sexual assault are reported monthly. That's according to Dr. Kona Husbands, the manager of the Sexual Offenses and Domestic Violence Policy Unit at the Ministry of Human Services. She made the comments yesterday as she addressed the sore issue of sexual violence in Guyana. Dr. Husbands shed light on the grim reality as she delivered remarks during the opening of an exhibition, which is currently being held at the Umana Yana to raise awareness about sexual assault. She reported that earlier in the year there was a spike in reported cases of sexual abuse. However, in recent weeks, those numbers have fallen.
Basically, we have, on average, on a monthly basis, in excess of 300 cases of sexual assault every year.
She revealed that the majority of the victims are women and young girls, with children accounting for more than 70% of the cases.
Greater than 90% of these cases are women. So women are the ones who are being abused and women are the ones who are speaking out. So as you can see, if it's greater than 90%, we still have some men who are speaking out and are being abused. That would be less than 10%. Now, over 70% of those cases are children, are persons under the age of 18 years old, and this is a significant number.
But while thousands of cases are reported annually, only 50% of those cases reach the court, and just about 10% result in prosecution, Dr. Husbands said. And adding her voice to the issue, Director of the Child Care and Protection Agency, Levine Gavaya, said many of the children who experience abuse, including sexual abuse, were abused by people they know and trust.
Far too many children experience abuse at the hands of individuals they trust. This violation not only robs them of their innocence, but can have lasting psychological, emotional, and social effects.
According to the Ministry of Human Services, in 2024 alone, more than 4,000 cases of child abuse were recorded in Guyana, of which 1,200 related to sexual abuse. The head of the Child Care and Protection Agency said the impact is severe, with thousands of children enduring lasting physical and emotional scars. Parents and guardians and those in a position of authority must do more to protect the nation's children and guard against such abuse, she said.
It is our duty to protect our children, educate them about personal safety, and create environments where they feel safe to disclose abuse.
The director of the Child Care and Protection Agency also spoke of the importance of working together to strengthen prevention strategies and to ensure that survivors receive the support they need. The Minister of Human Services, Dr. Vindhya Prasad, said between 2021 and 2023, her ministry created a robust network of intervention, prevention, and support, backed by a strong legislative framework. The Family Violence Act, the Gender-Based Violence Policy Framework, and the Family Violence Policy are among the protective frameworks in place. Other interventions included the introduction of the 914 helpline. While noting that ever so often victims of sexual violence are blamed for the abuse they endure, Minister of Human Services and Social Security, Dr. Vindhya Prasad, today said it is time to change that culture of victim blaming. Guyana, she said, must change their mindset and society's consciousness.
Implicit in all of this is the deep understanding that no one asks for this, not a soul. And if we are to truly make a difference, we need to change society's consciousness. And I say consciousness because much of what happens and much of what is said after an incident is reported or even made public speaks to that deeper state of consciousness that we have. And I, like many of the team, would read those comments and wonder at people. Wonder not only what are they thinking, but who they are. To even have the temerity to express those sentiments that even suggest for a second that anyone asks for it.
At the time, the minister was delivering the keynote address at the launch of Asking For It exhibition and workshop. It is being hosted by the Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Policy Unit of the Human Services Ministry and the Imperial House to raise awareness about sexual assault. The Human Services Minister said it is time to do better, explaining that many victims remain silent out of fear that they will be judged and blamed for the acts committed against them. She said the Human Services Ministry continues to put systems in place to counter sexual assault, but the ministry, she noted, cannot do it alone.
I firmly believe that you can use the power of your voices, position, and the platform to make the necessary transformation that is so desperately needed. We cannot live in a country or exist in a state where all we do is cast blame. Who should have done what they should have done and when it should have been done. We should be much more than that.
The executive director of the Imperial House, Wazim Khan, said the exhibition provides a platform for Guyanese to tell their stories of sexual assault, with the intention of raising awareness on the impact, but also the laws in place to guard against such assault.
Today we are gathered here not just to listen, but to bear witness. We need to open our hearts and minds to the voices of those who have endured pain in silence and acknowledge the strength it takes to speak out. The stories you will hear are not just accounts of suffering, they are testimonies of survival, of resilience.
Mr. Khan said sexual violence is not just an individual tragedy, but also a social wound that festers in silence and fear. Turning his attention to the exhibits, most of which chronicle the stories of survivors, Khan said while all of the stories were that of women, it does not negate the fact that men are also victims. He said more must be done to break that silence. And the director of the Child Care and Protection Agency, Levan Gavaya, said it was time to challenge harmful norms and be educated on the laws guarding against all forms of sexual abuse and violence.
Prevention starts with each of us through our conversations, our choices, and our commitment to creating a culture of respect and safety.
The Asking for It exhibition will run until the 7th of April. The exhibition is intended to bridge the information gap and dispel harmful myths surrounding sexual violence. It coincides with Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which is being observed under the theme Building Connected Communities.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Giftland have it. Need fridge or stove? Giftland have it. Speakers or laptop? Giftland have it. I'm telling you, Giftland have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58-inch, 65-inch, 70-inch, 75-inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give a warranty. Man, Giftland is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washi. Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks to Washi soap powder for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have me clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Washi soap powder wash clothes so nice. Washi soap powder leave your clothes color bright. Washi soap powder have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Starbrook Market.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster for drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Buster for days, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of me drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Well, with the High Court ruling that it is not unlawful for Coretta MacDonald to be the General Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union while sitting as a Member of Parliament, the long-standing trade unionist is now aiming to be President of the Guyana Teachers Union. It was the incumbent President Mark Light and second Vice President Julian Cambridge who in a case challenged their own suspension from office and also challenged the post held by MacDonald after a fallout over the August agreement with the government for teachers. Last Friday, High Court Judge Justice Nicola Pierre ruled that MacDonald can hold both offices. In an interview today, MacDonald said with the coast now clear and a total of 24 nominations out of 28, she is running for the presidency of the Teachers Union.
28 branches will have had their branch meetings during the stipulated time, October, November of 2024, and those branches will have nominated me, as a matter of fact, as president. And so, after having had that kind of confidence, I recognize that teachers are looking for leadership, and I decided that I'm going to run for the position.
GTU's elections for office bearers are expected to commence within a week or two and span for approximately 1 month. Teachers who are members of the union are expected to vote during that period. MacDonald said the challenge to her position as General Secretary was politically motivated and has been scorned upon by teachers across the country. It was explained that while the case was brought by Light and Cambridge, the issue of her being the General Secretary while serving as a Member of Parliament for the opposition was first raised by Vice President Barra Jagdeo without consulting the union's constitution.
We know that throughout history we've always seen the President from Gao being a Member of Parliament. And there's no outcry about that. But the issue here is not the position. The issue here is the person. That's the issue. And so Barrett Jaffew and Mark Light and a few of his cronies, their cronies, they have a problem with Coretta McDonald because they know that Coretta McDonald will not accept 10%.
In the very case challenging McDonald, Light and Cambridge also challenged their suspension by the General Counsel of the GTU last December. In that part of the case, the High Court overturned the suspension and ordered that they be allowed to carry out their duties and functions as President and Second Vice President of the Guyana Teachers Union. McDonald said the union intends to uphold the ruling of the court, but is currently awaiting the written statement. However, she maintained that Light and Cambridge breached the teachers' confidence when they signed an agreement with the government in August of last year to offer teachers a 10% salary increase for 2024, an 8% increase for this year, and a 9% increase for next year.
Our members are quite disappointed, but let me tell you what, the GTU will move on from there. The GTU has found itself in a rap, let me say that, where persons were being very dishonest. As a matter of fact, the whole signing of that agreement, the negotiations committee, they were not aware, or we were not aware, that the signing was going to take place on the 21st of August.
She said with all of those issues, the GTU still commits to representing the interests of teachers. Attorney General Anil Nandlal has hailed the visits of 3 U.S. Secretaries of State to Guyana over the past 5 years, boasting that those visits have signaled the U.S. government's confidence in the Guyana government. Since 2020, U.S. Secretaries of State Mike Pompeo, Antony Blinken, and Marco Rubio have visited Guyana. During his weekly Issues in the News program last evening, Mr. Nandlal said it is not normal for such high-ranking U.S. officials to visit Guyana so often.
These occurrences must not be taken for granted. They are a demonstration beyond doubt of the confidence that a powerful government like the US government has in Guyana, has in the future of Guyana, and has in the government of Guyana.
Nandlal said historically Guyana has never had the privilege of attracting such high-ranking U.S. officials. He said the most recent visit of Secretary Rubio has given the country a boost in its international standing. Among other things, Mr. Rubio has expressed the U.S. government's full support of Guyana in the ongoing border row with Venezuela. He also noted during a joint press conference with President Vanali that Guyana is one of the most exciting places to be right now. But the Attorney General criticized the opposition for not joining the government in celebrating Rubio's visit. Instead, he said the opposition focused on remarks made by Rubio on the state of Guyana's roads.
One would have expected that a national party, or a party that would like to describe itself as a national party, would first of all thank the Secretary of State for the position he has taken on Guyana's national territory and territorial integrity. Not a word about that. You would have thought also that they would have expressed some gratitude, even begrudgingly, to the Secretary of State for his very generous but accurate remarks on the state of our country and the potential of our country for the future. Not a word about that. But they went on, according to them, to clear up some misleading information that the Secretary of State had about who built the road
Nandlal said the visit by Mr. Rubio and his statements not only illustrate the Guyanese but to the wider world that Guyana is one of the most desirable and attractive investment destinations in the world. Well, tonight the Minister of Public Works, Juan Edgel, is issuing a warning to contractors who do shoddy roadworks that they will be blocked from consideration for future projects. The Works Ministry has been facing criticism countrywide over many of the roadworks being done by overnight contractors. In some cases, the works have been left incomplete. After inspecting a number of roadworks in Linden yesterday, the minister said it would be unfair to continue giving contracts to contractors who simply cannot deliver good work.
And it's only those who perform well could be considered to continue.
Right.
You can't give me bad work and then come back to say you need more work. To do what? To give us more bad work? I have seen a couple of places, the quality that we're not going to accept.
Mr. Edgel said the government will ensure it gets value for its money and that there is compliance with road contract specifications, noting that the awarding of road contracts is not money-making ventures for contractors, but rather it is to ensure that citizens' lives are improved.
We are not doing these roads so that people could make money. We are doing these roads so that the beneficiaries, which are the people, could benefit from it. And everything that we do as a government, it's about the people and benefiting the people. And people are not going to make money and then put us at conflict with people. Right. We're going to resolve the dissatisfaction. We're going to get the entrances fixed. We're going to get the shoulders restored. But you're going to come out to pay contract sum. So that is known, and I'm making it known again. We have to ensure we get value for money.
The Works Minister also said additional action will be taken to punish contractors who produce poor work. He threatened the withholding of their payments.
We will not pay. We will not pay for sloppy work. We will not pay for work that is not acceptable.
Right.
All these concrete roads must achieve a PSI of 4,500. These roads are being tested by our labs before payments are made, and we have said to our engineers and clerk of works, you sign off on projects that are not good quality, you're gonna face the consequences because you're out there to ensure compliance and to ensure value for money.
Almost 500 roads across the country were slated for completion by the end of March. According to the Works Minister, many of those roads are now completed, while others are at different stages of completion.
Yeah, you already know it's yours truly, Nelly Katoy, the queen of zest.
If you take people, man, clap your hand, boy. If you take people, man, clap your hand, boy.
Wait, Bobby?
Hi, Granny.
You know the Nelly song?
How you mean? Plus, she coming for a creek explosion Sunday, April 20th.
Creek explosion? Which creek? And is who bringing she?
The creek by Splash Main, Aziza Akusa. And it's Team Extra bringing she.
Team Extra? Let me call Freddie.
Hello, Granny.
Hi, bye.
What going on?
You bringing Nelly Kataya, you even put me on the show like you was a kunumunu or what?
Don't say fat, you're booking you now.
Galang, Granny.
Let me see the flyer. Oh, female dancing competition over 160,000 given away, plus male dance off for one motorbike.
Music by Bobby Kush, DJ Magnum, DJ Garwin, David Hype, and Papa Feelings.
Are you giddy up and get your early bird tickets for $2,000 at Team Extra Stabrook Market, Just Your Size Boutique, White Castle Fish Shop, and Fireside Sweets. Creek Explosion, compliments of Fireside and Team Extra.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. I can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall in the region. The former president of Costa Rica, Oscar Arias, says his U.S. visa has been revoked. Arias, a Nobel Prize winner, said he was informed of the decision weeks after he had publicly criticized Donald Trump, comparing the behavior of the U.S. president to that of a Roman emperor. The 84-year-old, who was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his role in brokering and end the conflicts in Central America, said U.S. authorities had given no explanation. Arias hinted, however, that it may be due to his rapprochement with China during the time he was president from 2006 to 2010. The Department of Environment has announced that effective April 1, 2025, the distribution of plastic T-shirt bags will be prohibited across in kits under the newly enacted Plastic Waste Reduction Act 2025. Businesses that continue this practice may face fines of up to $3,000 for a first offense and up to $15,000 for repeated offenses, officials said in a statement. Environmental officials are strongly encouraging all business establishments to begin transitioning to more eco-friendly alternatives immediately. Recommended options include paper bags and reusable shopping bags. And finally tonight, international news. Democratic Senator Cory Booker mounted a historic protest on the Senate floor across 2 days, warning against the harms he said President Donald Trump's administration is inflicting on the American public. The New Jersey Democrat spoke for 25 hours and 5 minutes, according to his office, breaking the record for the longest floor speech in modern history of the chamber. He began his speech at 7 p.m. Monday with a vow to keep his protest going as long as he was physically able, and with nothing, he told CNN, but a Bible verse in his pocket. The marathon speaking session from Booker, a member of the Senate Democratic leadership team, comes as his party faces increasing pressure from their voters to take a harder line against Trump. Locked out of power in Washington, Democrats have limited options and have struggled to find a unified strategy to counter the administration. But Booker's speech stands out as one of the most high-profile forms of protest by a Democratic lawmaker so far in Trump's second term. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you a pleasant evening.